How's it going? How was your lunch?
Good.
I feel like Oprah. So I'm not like that TED Talk person yet. So I'm going to sit down here and we're going to have a little conversation. Glad you all could be here. I'm super excited. I just want to first off, before I get going and kind of share my thoughts, wanted to thank Jay Tucker. Also wanted to thank Spence in the back for connecting us. He's one of our members of the peer group, the Emerging Media peer group, and as well as Michelle and Christian. They've been great. And I'm going to call out Charlie in the back and, oh gosh, his friend. I forgot your name already. This all came in really hot because we decided to do this week. So thank you guys. All right, so we're going to just spend about 20 minutes here. I'm going to sort of talk to you about my thoughts. And then Jay and I are going to have a further discussion about emerging media and emerging technologies. So I always start off with, our why. The why is really important. It's all about storytelling. Our guru is Robert McKee. And really, it's about connecting to people at the deepest level is through stories. So just a little bit about myself. I've had the really great fortune of working at the cross-section of storytelling and technology, and spanning film, television, animation, documentaries, VR, AR, XR. What's XR? That's a different talk. And my background started in creative development, production, moved over into VFX, animation, virtual production. So, I've had the pleasure of working on a bunch of different great films. And ultimately, through VFX, I ended up over at DreamWorks Animation. And there we did some really cool things when I was vice president of the advanced creative technology team. We took the franchises and we looked at a way to sort of, how do you kind of expand those worlds through emerging media platforms, and got to work on some really great VR pieces, AR pieces, and such. So, and then during the height of COVID, went to Vancouver to produce a film with Bronze Studios, and then was recruited by Netflix and came back and to the States and worked with Netflix as the director of virtual production. And I was in charge of virtual production for United States and Canada for all of the Netflix films, series and scripted documentaries and ancillary content that utilize virtual production, different talk as well, and on-set virtual production. And my team, we basically built infrastructure, and then we also went forth and executed and implemented virtual production for the studio. 1899, if you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's one of our biggest on-set virtual production that really utilized the volume stage during the height of COVID. And then the latest, this came out last week, was really honored to work on one of the biggest projects that we did for the UCAN, Avatar: The Last Airbender. And that was pretty amazing. These are some shots in the volume. So you can see it's really allowed the technology to impact your location. Here's some behind the scenes shots on the volume. Top right corner is Aang walking up into the volume, so you can see the ceiling there. And the lower right hand corner, action scene on the volume, which is cool. And some behind the scenes shot there. And then now I am a co-founder of Playbook. My business partner is over here, Yanni Hanlon. And basically, we're able to bring our studio experience and our experience in and expertise, both in creativity, storytelling, production, and how we apply emerging technologies into all the different spaces of linear, digital, multi-platform storytelling. So it's a really exciting space to be in. And we really like to help companies connect the dots to be able to really utilize the emerging technologies that are right in front of our faces. And then I am just this year started as the governor of the Emerging Media Programming Peer Group. It's really dynamic. And we represent professionals from across the industry who create or have an impact on emerging media content. So what's cool is there is a peer group that's designed to really look at new platforms. So if you aren't a part of the Television Academy and you do that, you should join. I'm happy to talk to you afterwards as well. And I'm part of the Producers Guild. I've been a board member for a long time. Currently, I'm on the Production Innovation Task Force. So, all right. So in order to look forward, we do need to look backwards a little bit, and that's something important, so we can evaluate like how are things being formed and why are they being formed. So I'm going to just do a really quick walkthrough to a little bit on the film production, especially in the, let's just say, the last 25-ish years. So this is courtesy of my friends over at Epic. This slide just represents film production pre-digital, and the focus really on the creative collaboration was during physical production and with on-set visual effects, which was a little bit different. It was like, we're gonna capture really cool things in camera, tricks and stuff like that. Post-digital, so in the era of CGI, lots of green screens. This is where the creative collaboration process shortened during principal photography, and the visual effects schedule was nearly twice as long as principal photography. And then with the onset of real-time game engine in production, what we're looking at is the focus of creative collaboration is lengthened starting earlier in pre-production with more departments involved, which is really key. The key is collaboration and iteration. And then it also happens not only in pre-production, but production as well, visual effects and editorial. So this schedule right here kind of represents film productions and this disruption that's happening if you've worked on a virtual production project. So then take a real quick leap backwards a little bit more is with visual effects and animation. When I was at Rhythm and Hues, this is sort of what a typical production schedule would look like. Every department has to play out. If you want to do something different, let's say you want to change your animation, it's right there in the middle. You would have to go all the way back to rigging, perhaps, maybe, pre-light, texture. And so you lose a lot of the efficiency. You have to go all the way back and then restart again. And it's a very linear process. Same thing happens with animation, and that is because it's really designed like a factory. You have 400 artists working on a project for 2 years, and they have to go through every single department. And it's sequential, and it's, make a change, got to go back, and then redo. So with real-time technology, what's cool is it's much more fluid, and all the jobs and departments in a traditional workflow are still needed, but they're basically layout, blocking, look dev, rigging, animation, lighting, and effects, but they don't necessarily occur in the order you're accustomed to. And also, it's changing the timelines. People could come in and collaborate much more quickly. So again, the key word is collaboration. And because of that, you're gonna get a little bit more speed. You can work faster and smarter. The iteration happens earlier and more often. A lot of times it's really important to figure out what you don't want as much as what you do want. You're gonna get higher visual fidelity early on too. You're gonna see like, oh, I like this. And again, that word, collaboration. And the benefits, these are the benefits as we know, real time. You got creativity, the artists can get there faster, and they can kind of get into their creativity and really define things in a greater sense. Visualization, faster iteration, faster turnaround, storytelling, and multi-platform. The multi-platform enables us to then tell stories in various ways through real time. Okay, so I kind of give you a little, like, here's the CG, the computer graphics, production, process, what's happened in the last 20 years. And now we kind of, what I like to do, and I spend a lot of time thinking about, is the audience and what's happening with our audience. Because you take it both pictures, it's like you have the way we make projects, and you also have like who our audience is. And the who our audience is just as important as now. The big question and the thing that we're all grappling with is, how are we making production? So I'm going to just do a quick a walkthrough on what's been happening lately in the last, let's say, 9 months. So this is the truth, that we have big blockbuster movies are being challenged to be profitable. They come to the theater and might do well, but then you look at the costs for them. It's tough, right? You also have this disruption, Taylor Swift. And the interesting thing about this is when she decided, I'm going to go ahead and put my film out on my tour and cut the middleman out. And then also her impact to, as just her as a person, with her impact to the NFL is huge. So we kind of then need to really think about, and I like to think about the future audience, the current and future audience, is really going to be like, what's Gen Z wanting? What's Alpha wanting? I have 2 Alpha boys at home. That sounds really weird. 2 Alpha boys at home. But this is important to cite. And it's just laying a little bit of the groundwork on that. Video games is the #1 form of entertainment activity, and watching TV or movies at home basically comes in 5th place. And Gen Z are commonly referred to as the digital natives. So then Alpha is like digital native plus. Only 10% of Gen Z respondents said watching TV or movies was their favorite entertainment pastime. And it's a quote, the oldest generation is looking for video games, music, and the youngest generation is looking for video games, music, and other forms of entertainment ahead of television and movies. So if you're a traditional media company, you're going to have to offer a broader range of entertainment than just movies and TV shows. And Gen Zs are very much immersed in the interactivity and participatory aspects of their entertainment. I had a really good conversation with a Gen Z, maybe even early, like late Alpha, we were talking about past lives and just the feeling of like a movie. And the way she described it was the movie felt really distant. I'm in the theater and I feel distant. And that says a lot, because I was like, okay, so then you watched Past Lives. How did you watch Past Lives? Like, well, I watched it at home on my laptop. Were you distracted? Yeah, I was distracted. Okay. But you made it through the movie. Yes. Okay. And sort of, we talked about different ideas of what that engagement could look like. I pitched this crazy idea. I'm not going to get into the details of that idea, but she's like, I really like that. I was like, okay, I'm onto something. So there is this desire and this need to have much more engagement. Okay, and so we're seeing the numbers here. These are, I don't think this is anything new. We have Avatar, lifetime gross, 2.9 billion. Lifetime gross for Way of Water is 2.3. These are old numbers from Fortnite. I think on the reboot of Fortnite, my kids have been paying attention a lot, or my 13-year-old is still like back into it again. So, and these are the numbers that show out in 2018 as well as 2021. So this was last year's global games market, 187.7 billion. I think for 2024, they just added a couple billion to it. So again, it's growing. It's definitely growing. It's not receding. So all this is to lead to what I, when kind of sat back and thought about it, was what's really happening here, right? And the idea, this concept, really came out of seeing the signs, really inspired me to create a concept called the entertainment umbrella. And one of the quotes in the article kind of confirmed what I was thinking about, which is some of the numbers here. So Gen Z may not be video first. And so there's just basically evidence that there's a growing entertainment umbrella. So what does the entertainment umbrella mean? It means that there's an umbrella, and the umbrella is much more inclusive than exclusive. With digital natives, they're really like, hey, sure, I'll do games and I'll do YouTube, and yeah, maybe I'll stream some stuff. It's very fluid. There's not this is a right way. I must watch film first, then I'll watch the series, then I'll do the game, and then I'll, maybe watch some influencer on YouTube. It's so fluid. And my 13-year-old, he's like quadruple screening at this point. It's like crazy. I'm just trying to get him back into a flow, right? So, but this is what it means. It's the entertainment umbrella. And for any of you who are Gen Zs and Alphas, you're like, yeah, this is like not a big deal. I'm speaking to those that have we all grew up in the business, and it's like, we're trying to figure out the transition, which is, it's a widened umbrella, much more inclusive. And this is the case, basically the options aren't so siloed. It should just be much more fluid. So then this is an interesting stat too, is already in 2022, the key media trend was 70% of Gen Z claimed that they always end up spending more time watching user-generated content than they plan to, right? And we know from TikTok and YouTube that it's just increasing. And with the interesting stats about YouTube is that YouTube has 2.7 billion users. 52% of internet users access YouTube at least once a month. So half of the internet users go to YouTube at least once a month. Users consume 1 billion hours of videos on YouTube every day. And then YouTube generated 22.31 billion via advertising in 2023. So it's very obvious, these signs. So that leads to now we're gonna add in user-generated content into the mix. And rather than, quote, from the media trends, quote, rather than existing in silos, streaming video, social media, music, and gaming are weaving together into a more interconnected and interdependent tapestry. And what stands out most is that younger generations may give their digital entertainment time more evenly to TV, movies, video games, music, and UGC. So, again, we're reminded there's this real need and pull for this participatory, immersed kind of content. And then Disney has sort of thought about it too. They're leaning into multi-platform. This year, they announced $1.5 billion investment in Epic Games, as well as getting their content for early adopters with Apple Vision Pro. And, quote, players, gamers, and fans will be able to create their own stories and experiences, express their fandom in a distinctly Disney way, and share content with each other in ways that they love. So we're seeing the signs again. And so then what does this mean? Again, I'm going to sandwich in emerging technologies and leave you probably mostly with a lot of questions. But so we see the rise of emerging technologies. And so what I wanted to do is just take the next few moments to just show you, probably this is this year, some AI examples. I was on a project recently, was the virtual production advisor and co-executive producer on USC Entertainment Technology Center special project. And basically we tested out Kubrick's workflow for on-set virtual production. It's basically, Kubrick is leveraging Gen AI for virtual production by allowing the creation of cinematic environments, rapid construction of immersive 2.5D environments, and helping to reduce asset and content to the wall timelines. So they're really looking at how do we get you what you want, what you're looking for sooner, quicker. The other thing that's been on all of our minds, and if you haven't seen this, so I'm gonna take us through a couple different, my favorite clips from Sora. So OpenAI is teaching AI to understand and simulate the physical world in motion, with the goal of training models that help people solve problems that require real-world interaction. That's their mission. So basically, OpenAI came out with their text-to-video model, Sora, that can generate videos up to a minute long while maintaining visual quality and adherence to the user's prompt. So these are some of my most, there were probably, they released, I think, like 35 different examples, and these are my favorite for various reasons. So I thought, and I put in the prompt so you can sort of read what they put in. So they put in the prompt, and then they spit out this video. My guess it's going to be probably 5 seconds. I don't know. I should do the prompt and then see how long it takes. I'm going to guess it's like 3 seconds, 3 or 5 seconds. So, and that was the simple prompt, which I thought was really interesting. And then this one, a little bit longer prompt, and I'm going to read it. It's a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street filled with warm, glowing neon and animated city signage. She wears a black leather jacket, a long red dress, and black boots, and carries a black purse. I'm going to start playing the video. She wears sunglasses and red lipstick. She walks confidently and casually. The street is damp and reflective, creating a mirror effect of the colorful lights many pedestrians walk about. That was the actual prompt that they dropped into Sora. There's comments on X, Twitter. People have to go there like, she's got like 3 legs, or her walking's weird. And it's sort of like, is that what we're looking at? Or are we looking at the environment and we're looking at like her as the main subject in this video? And then this stuff blows my mind with the reflections from her sunglasses. Okay, this one here. Drone view of waves crashing against the rugged cliffs along Big Sur's Gary Point Beach. The crashing blue waters create white-tipped waves while the golden light of the setting sun emulates the rocky shore. A small island with a lighthouse sits in the distance and green shrubbery covers the cliff's edge. The steep drop from the road down to the beach is a dramatic feat, with the cliff's edge jutting out over the sea. This is a view that captures the raw beauty of the coast and the rugged landscape of the Pacific Coast Highway. I really like this one. This is probably one of the first ones I saw, just some of the details. So the prompt is beautiful, snowy Tokyo City is bustling. The camera moves through the bustling city street, following several people enjoying the beautiful snowy weather and shopping at nearby stalls. Gorgeous sakura petals are flying through the wind along with snowflakes. Okay. I love this one. I love the ones with the reflections. So, reflections in the window of a train traveling through the Tokyo suburbs. I mean, come on. That's probably my favorite one. Okay, so those are some Sora examples. Let's take a look at Curious Refuge. So Curious Refuge, my friends over at Curious Refuge, founded by Caleb and Shelby Ward, is an online home for anyone who wants to utilize AI tools to create incredible art. Caleb and Shelby are pioneering a way to utilize AI to create the future of storytelling. So Shelby was tasked, we had her at the AI Summit for the Television Academy, and she created a concept video for Sony about the 80s music group Milli Vanilli. It was a tight timeline, and she basically created her project in 2 weeks. Let's take a look. And this has sound.
Welcome.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back. Can you go back? Thank you. Sorry about that.
Welcome to the 80s. A time of jazzercise, Rubik's Cubes, mullets, leg warmers, shoulder pads, and the biggest scandal in pop music history, Milli Vanilli. The year is 1987. A group from Maryland called Newmarks writes a song called Girl You Know It's True.
People in America are going to love this.
They didn't. But someone in Germany saw potential for the song.
This song is totally tubular.
Fab Morvan and Rob Pilatus have become breakdancing sensations. They are attractive, cool, and, most importantly, marketable. A music producer named Frank Farian sees an opportunity and decides to re-record his own version of Girl You Know It's True, using session singers Brad Howell, John Davis, Charles Shaw, Jody Rocco, and Linda Rocco.
That sounded great, guys. The band is gonna love it.
Frank signs Rob and Fab to be the face of Milli Vanilli, and Girl You Know It's True becomes a mega hit around the world. They were huge. Milli Vanilli's debut album goes 6 times platinum in the US and diamond in Canada.
Hey, should this thing be plugged in?
Details, Rob, details.
It was an almost flawless plan. However, cracks appear in the facade. During an MTV festival in Connecticut, a playback glitch exposes Rob and Fab as lip syncers. The rumor mill starts circulating, but nothing sticks. And then the unimaginable happens.
And the winner of the 1990 Grammy for Best New Artist is Milli Vanilli.
However, Fab and Rob are sick of lip syncing, so they press Frank to let them sing or get out of their contract. Frank, feeling cornered, hosts a shocking press conference, admitting that Rob and Fab never really sang, but we're fabulous stage performers.
It's fine that they didn't sing the songs, right?
The Grammys disagreed.
We're taking this back now.
The fans felt angry and betrayed. Frank releases a new album titled The Real Milli Vanilli, featuring the original session singers.
I always believed in you guys.
But it's too late. The name Milli Vanilli is stained forever. Unfortunately, in the aftermath, Rob Pilatus was found dead in a hotel in Frankfurt due to a drug and alcohol overdose. Fab, on the other hand, continues to make his own music even to this day. And that's the story of how 2 lip syncers became prominent voices of a generation, and how the music of Milli Vanilli lives on.
So it's pretty impressive. It's a concept video for Sony, 2 weeks. I was pretty impressed. You can get your phones out. These are their tool recommendations. So if you're interested in AI, it's a very great page. They're amazing collaborators. They want people to learn. They also sell out on their training programs. So get that, grab that, and it just, it will highlight some of the tools that she used for her project. Okay, this is my last example. Is Deep Brain AI. Is a video generation platform that develops and provides AI-powered solutions such as AI avatars. You're going to hear a lot more about AI avatars in the future, and AI video generators. It offers businesses the ability to create AI-generated videos quickly using simple text and provides real-time artificial intelligence and video synthesis solutions. So we're going to take a quick look at their AI avatars and applications and how Howie Mandel actually is using their technology.
Hey everybody, it's AI Howie, coming to you with the help of my new friends at Deep Brain. Thanks to the power of artificial intelligence, you will soon be seeing me everywhere.
Yeah. So here is an example. Basically, they have a platform that allows you to actually pick and choose an avatar. They basically scan folks that sign up and say, yes, I'm happy to use my likeness and whatnot. And we're seeing a lot of this actually in Asia, where they're having, there's AI avatars for news anchors, as well as like banks and stuff like that. And then the last one is, which I find really interesting, and I'll let you marinate on this before Jay comes up and we have a further discussion, but is this one with
AI 써니. 안녕하세요 여러분. 오늘부터 한국에서 여러분의 건강 생활을 책임질 AI 써니입니다. 옆에 있는 손흥민 형이 설명해준 대로 여러분이 좋아하는 걸 오랫동안 좋아할 수 있도록 여러 가지 유용하고 재미있는 것들을 많이 소개하고 함께 만들어갈 계획입니다.
So that's Deep Brain AI. Definitely go check them out. It's very interesting. Could be super helpful for maybe something that you're doing. All right, thank you. Jay Tucker's going to come up, and we're going to continue the conversation. And if you guys want to...
I don't think we have 10 minutes. We have about 5 minutes, right? But we have time for a couple of questions. So I'm going to start by asking you one.
Sure.
So you seem to be pointing out that AI is breaking the law. What I mean is, for those of us, how many of you have ever worked in tech? Hands up high if you've ever worked in tech. So you all know that the rule is good, fast, and cheap. You get to pick 2 out of 3, right? Is that not the rule? You're telling me we get all 3.
I'm just showing. I'm not saying anything. I'm letting you all think about it. Okay. So of all of the examples you showed, which one for you do you think has the most potential? Which one do you think potentially can make the most impact? Everyone was a little bit different. So what I like about Shelby's example is you have the opportunity to come up with it really puts the creative tools in the hands of people who, I have an idea, this is what I want. I've always had to wait for some graphic artists to create that, but now I know I can actually use some tools to help me figure out what that creative process is. So its concept is visualization. And to me, I think that's really cool, because for me, who's I can't draw worth beans, I'm drawing stick figures, or I'm pulling up images, I can actually sort of figure out this is sort of what I want and what I'm thinking about. And it's sort of it helps to bring everyone together in that piece. I think the Sora thing is interesting. We'll see how things play out a little bit more. Obviously we all saw the article that Tyler Perry put out.
That's what I was about to ask you about that.
Well, there's a lot of different people might have different thoughts.
Hold on. So does everybody know about the article issues? Okay. So Tyler Perry, hands up if you haven't heard of Tyler Perry. Okay, good. So Tyler Perry, who's been relatively successful, has created a production facility in the Atlanta area, right? Has been building Well, he was planning to expand his facility. He was going to build more sound stages and other stuff on his back lot, which was a massive capital investment, right? $800 million. Thank you, Mr. Bloom. And so he saw a demo of Sora and halted his plans. Right? Now, I don't know if you think that this is the kind of stuff that would matter on the same time horizon as his investment. But obviously, Tyler Perry felt like, I need to rethink the business that we're in and what investments are going to yield, given the fact that technology can already do this.
Yeah, the key question is, how are we going to make content?
Right. And how are we?
I don't know. So, hopefully there's a lot of creatives in here. They'll be the determinants, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to me, again, I did this in the welcome. One of the things that I think is really important to remember is that we are still the ones who have the tools in our hands, right? This stuff is meant to kind of augment and amplify what we do. So this idea that there's some kind of, we haven't yet reached the point where Skynet has become self-aware, right? Yeah. So there's still potential for us to harness these tools for ourselves. And you gave some great practical examples of how we can kind of streamline and do more and do better, right? Is there any point of friction or concern that you see in the short run? When I say short run, 2 to 5 years.
I think the next 2 to 5 years are going to be the most disruptive for entertainment.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you tell if you're going to advise these folks out here after what you've just presented? Now, mind you, you started in your intro talking about something that's equally provocative, which is the shift in the way people consume entertainment.
Yeah, there's both parts.
Right. So
massive disruption.
Don't worry, it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine.
I just paint the picture.
Okay. So, given the picture that you painted,
Yeah.
if there was one thing you wanted people to leave this room remembering,
Yeah.
what would that be?
I mean, I think that, it's interesting. It goes back to a conversation with my husband. He went to USC Film School. Sorry, again, too much USC.
It's okay. There's nothing.
I didn't go to USC Film School, which is probably, better for me. But in the conversation, it's sort of like this framework. It's like a mindset. It's like, I've been, the whole time in my career, I've done it this way.
Yes.
Okay? Kind of have to break out of ourselves, right? I think the blinders are, you only are going to put the blinders on yourself. I think curiosity, resilience, ingenuity, these are all like pillars of like American businesses, right? And I think that we have to kind of, you come to the determination yourself, depending on your decision, right? When am I gonna just like, no. I mean, even like Annie and I had a conversation this morning, we're looking at stuff and I'm like, golly, and I like, we know a lot. We're like, ugh. And, but you get to a process, and I think what it is that it still requires, with AI, I forgot to mention, I showed you the examples because I wanted you to see what these are the things that everyone's talking about this year. But AI is zeros and ones, right? It's not human, doesn't have a soul, doesn't have taste. It's outputting what we put in. Now, it is scraping a lot of data, but there's a human component there. And I would absolutely say that for everyone, it's like, remember that. Because we have a conscience, we have a responsibility, we believe in things that are important, the values in which we live by, all those things. I'm talking about all human stuff. And the collaborative nature of those things. Those are the things that are super important as the baseline. And then, okay, knowing that, how do I sort of look at tools in a way that can help me extend the humanity, right? Because AI is really it's a humanity conversation, And it was funny because my 13-year-old, the 13-year-old one, the Fortniter, he said, Mom, think about AI. It's like, everyone's like so anti-AI or whatever. He's like, it's a human thing. And I was like, who are you? You're like, you're saying, you're preaching like really deep things. And I think that's the thing, is that you get to a certain place, you sort of need to think about it. I think we have to still, as individuals, especially in the business, we need to be aware. Yeah. We need to be aware.
Yeah. So this is the thing. We have QD3, Quincy Jones III, here in the audience today. Thank you for coming. And one of the things that he and I had a conversation about is this question about, when we talk about entertainment, what we're really talking about is culture.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the commodity that's being exchanged is culture. It's joy, right? It's feeling and connection. That's what it is. And so if you think about the people who invest so heavily with their time and their creativity and their work to bring that to you, to connect you to the way they see the world, to share their art with you, share their culture with you, right? The last thing you want to have happen is that you are enriched personally and they are fleeced professionally, right? You don't want to see your favorite athlete or your favorite entertainer go broke. You don't want to see their work being used without them being compensated, right? At the same time, when we talk about how we train up a lot of these AI algorithms, we leverage past work. And one of the things you'll hear on stage is people talking about opt-in or stuff that's already in the public domain, et cetera, because there is this concern that, using stuff that is still copyright protected without people's consent results in what is essentially theft. Yeah. And it's only one of the dimensions of kind of how we think about, from a societal perspective, how we make sure that the people who generate that creativity also benefit from what they generate, right? Yeah. And so when I asked you about this kind of like, well, what is the next 2 to 5 years or whatever, part of me is also asking, well, what does it mean for the folks who are creators, right? Should they be, what are the things that they should be excited about and what should they be keeping their eyes on?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's the first slide. It's storytelling. You know, we as humans, we do storytelling really well, right? It's the storytelling. And that storytelling piece is exactly what you said. It's the connecting, like how am I connecting to human? Mm-hmm. So for any creators, it's like, if you don't have that base of that story, the storytelling, it doesn't matter. Like it's just a tool, right? Like I have an iPhone, should I go shoot an iPhone movie, you know? What is that? And we see that, I guess you could say, on different various platforms, which are engaging and people are trending and watching. But it's, again, it's, I think we have to, and why I talk about the umbrella and why I talk about showing all these things is we have to look at it a new way. It's like the Big Hero 6, like the Big Brother turns them upside down. It's like, look at it a new way. Yeah. And I think that was the other thing. I think we all have to sort of look at things a new way.
All right, we're at time, so that's the perfect way to end it with one of my favorite movies, Big Hero 6. See it if you haven't. And we're going to keep the show going, but thank you so much for coming here to make us a little bit smarter.
Thank you again.